Firstly, hi everyone, welcome. My name is Patricia Lopez. I am the co-founder of Academy Healing Nutrition here in London, and I am very excited to be with you all today and to have two lovely guests, our amazing instructor Inga, and our amazing grad, who I'm going to unmute, Bianca. Um, So you will hear from both of them today in depth. But basically today we're going to be talking about health coaching 101. So what is a health coach? And then more specifically, what is our approach to health coaching here at Academy Healing Nutrition? What is our food as medicine approach? So if we move on to one second, that is one slide too much. To our agenda, you'll see that we'll talk into, I'll give you a bit of an overview of Academy Healing Nutrition so you know who we are and sort of who's behind this webinar tonight, then take you through, I mentioned the health coach, what that is, our approach to it, and share those abundant career opportunities that we offer as part of our training. Graduates have gone on to do some amazing things, so we'll share that in depth, and then lastly we'll discuss how our training can support you. So before we get started on all that, I'll just introduce myself in a little bit more depth, and I guess before also some rules in terms of the panel tonight, or rather than rules, just sort of important notices. We are recording. So if you need to hop off for whatever reason, we will be sending this as a follow-up, but please bear in mind that we are welcoming questions, but we're only answering those at the end, so that there should be a chat function for you guys to go ahead and submit any questions that we'll be able to answer at the end. So yeah, just briefly, like I mentioned, Patricia and I'm founder of our London branch. But I was with Academy since 2015. That's when I enrolled as a student. And at that time, I was not very well with my health. I was suffering from chronic migraines and really dependent on a lot of prescription medication. I see a few familiar names in the webinar attendee list. So I know a few of you have heard my story before. But for those of you that we haven't met before, then that's how what drew me to Academy. So it was a personal quest, if you will. I wanted to find out the holistic approaches that I could leverage for my healing. And from graduating in 2016, my health completely turned around, and I no longer take medication, which was something that I never thought would be possible. And I was actually told by my neurologist that wasn't going to be a possibility for me. So I'm deeply grateful for Academy, for what I've learned. I used to be in a completely different career. I used to be in advertising, and I moved to London in that capacity. But now, as of 2018, switched over to Academy and to running on our branch here. So I'll be able to tell you everything about how we work here and the overall program and how it all works. But in general, what we're going to jump into now is a bit of our overview, so that you have that context ahead of diving into those details at the end of the presentation. So we're a 10-month holistic health coaching program. And whilst I opened our program in 2018 here in London, it's been in operation for much longer than that. So Roger Green, who is a prime faculty member and a holistic health pioneer, amazing man all around, he started this program about 35 years ago. And the premise has always been this approach of food as medicine and taking charge of your own health and empowering our students to do just that. So our modalities, are quite diverse in terms of what we offer. So we're looking at traditional Chinese medicine as a very important base for all our teachings. At Ayurveda, we also talk about microbiotics and cultures of longevity. So look at all these cultures that were living really long and healthy lives, and what were they up to? Connect to that ancient wisdom that we've lost touch with in a way. And of course, being in the West, we also discuss Western nutritional topics so that it all blends quite nicely, and East meets West in this beautiful way. And our program is very holistic, right? So we're talking about food in the majority of the curriculum because we think it's such a pivotal base for our well-being to get right. But we go on and introduce things like herbs and tonics and natural remedies and body work. So there's this very robust, comprehensive approach to well-being that we offer, and it is very practical. So whilst our program is fully available online rather, we have live modules in London and obviously in New York. And we are cooking, we're making elixirs, we're, trying shiatsu massage on each other. So it is very hands-on, which is a very unique component, especially nowadays where everything seems to be online only. Yeah, and the idea is again that we provide all these tools so that students can go on and do anything really. So we'll talk about those possibilities and what those doors are that can open with this training. But in London, we enroll once a year, and we start our course basically every March. So right now we're currently enrolling for our intake starting on the 21st of March, and I'll share a bit of like dates and logistics around that in a bit. But just so you know, it is starting in March. And because it is a practical and hands-on experience, we do have a limited capacity in terms of wanting to keep that size quite intimate. And we have a few spots left. So if a few of you resonate with what we're speaking, then hopefully we will see you in March. So to kind of bring this to life, normally when we're in a live presentation, it's easier to sort of showcase all of these elements that I've described, but I'm going to go ahead and show a little teaser video that has a couple of snippets in class, and let me know if it plays. There we go. Play. There we go.
And remember, we look at all the food groups, so it's not good or bad. It's a tonic mushroom. It's very good. And it helps to flush things out of the body. Yeah, full hand and feet.
Looking good.
Yeah.
This is a secret ingredient in this dish.
Proper lifestyle, longevity diet, that's your foundation.
Perfect. So yeah, a lot of interaction in our class for sure. So I'm now going to hand it over to our beautiful Inga to take you through what it is to be a health coach, and the possibilities in terms of our approach of food as medicine. So Inga, and I think you can see us. You can see our face now, which a lot of webinars are typically just a slide, but we want to connect with you at least in this capacity. So you should be able to see us in full swing now. So Inga, go ahead.
Great. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Inga Belinkina, and I have been with Academy for a very long time, actually. It's been around 12 years that I have been part of the faculty. Also, before I became faculty at the Academy, I was a student here myself, and this is basically a journey that I'm going to share with you that is a potential, what you can do as a holistic nutrition coach. And so it's interesting to look back in retrospect, how different people come to this training, what draws them to these principles that we are teaching. And people come from all kinds of backgrounds, both cultural backgrounds and professional backgrounds. And we always create a beautiful space for our students to, first of all, explore themselves, explore their own strengths and understand their weaknesses, and then use the information that they're learning in the program to empower themselves, to enrich their lives, and to basically take it a step further from just taking care of your own health and into helping others. And so now I feel like we live in a very interesting time when there's this massive shift happening in the mindset from looking outside of ourselves to heal and to get sort of fixed with whatever health issues that we have, and into actually seeing health challenges as part of the journey of self-realization and spiritual growth. So now we see more and more people that are starting to take control of their health. They're starting to take health into their own hands. And we live in a time when there's been never that many options for us to actually get the tools that are based on the ancient principles and that are now validated by the modern research to really enrich our lives. And here at the Academy, basically what we have done over years is concentrate this rich knowledge from cultures of longevity, from the ancient systems of healthcare, such as Chinese medicine and Ayurveda, and really extract the nuggets of wisdom, those pearls of wisdom that we now can apply to our modern time. And looking also at the people that are drawn to this training, to this path of being a health coach, I can also see how everyone who joins this movement, this health coaching movement, has really something special to share about their own journey with health. And I think this is something that is underestimated a little bit, you know, where our own journey to healing has so much potency. We are concentrating our medicine. We are really discovering who we truly are. We are starting to become more discriminate when it comes to making choices for our life and health. And so with all of this, we are learning how to be really potent practitioners, how to be really potent healers. In a way, we are discovering our inner healer archetype in this training. And of course, first of all, this path, it takes us inward. It takes us to explore who we truly are and what our health challenges are there for us to explore in order to transcend those challenges and to find our way to our personal truth. So whole health coaching as an industry is a very rapidly growing field, and there are many programs nowadays. When we started in the early 80s, there was not that many programs. So Roger Green actually pioneered this training in Australia, and then he brought it to London, then he brought it to New York. So it's been run in several countries over the course of 30, 40 years now. And it's gaining popularity, really. We are seeing much more interest in doing this professionally, not just for getting information and tools to improve your own health, but really to work with people to help them go through their health challenges and to help them to shift focus into this self-awareness about their body and how what you eat, the choices that you make with your lifestyle are affecting your internal landscape. So as a holistic and really well-rounded curriculum, we guide our students how to be their own healers. So One of our concepts is be your own doctor or be your own healer. And I think that's really pivotal if you are getting into the health coaching industry, to really understand how to navigate your health challenges, and how to understand what is your innate constitution. What are you actually born with? What are your gifts and what are your weaknesses? And often the weaknesses are actually the challenges that allow us to become stronger, that forge our inner core. And from that core, we cultivate that inner fire that often people gravitate towards. So we have been living in the Western world, you know, whether you are in the UK or United States or somewhere in Europe. And basically, the mindset around health has been, okay, if you get sick, that's when you need to start acting on it. That's when you need to start figuring out how to actually fix your health issues. But with our approach, we are actually educating our students how to be more proactive about their health and how to prevent the onset of any difficulties, any health challenges before it actually becomes chronic. So health prevention is key when it comes to your own health cultivation. And so with that mindset, we are guiding our students on their own personal health journey. There's a number of tools that they're taking out from this training. And the training itself is like a micro representation of the journey that the health coaches are going to take their clients on if they choose to work as health coaches and taking clients to do one-on-one work. And of course, you know, if you're not geared towards working with people one-on-one, there are other options what you can do, and other career paths that can open up for you. But just to, you know, have a foundation here, this course is extremely empowering. So it's empowering for your own health. It allows you to take health into your own hands and to understand how to be your own doctor. And also what we really encourage students is to understand that what they already know, what they have already gone through in their personal healing journey is enough to share with others and to bring that light out and to be the medicine that people actually are looking for. You know, say nowadays people are seeking better options for taking care of themselves. And many doctors simply don't have time to devote to their clients to discuss issues around their diet, lifestyle, their sleep patterns. So this is what the health coaching is actually for. We sit with our clients and we discuss all of these important parts of our life, you know, our relationships, our social interactions. And we are helping our clients to really connect with their bodies, because most of us nowadays are really living in our heads. Yeah, so we are constantly engaged with our outside reality, with our sensory organs. You know, we are constantly on the computer. We're constantly on our phone screens. We are constantly running somewhere. We are always busy, so we are always outward. And this is the same approach that we take towards our health. It's like fast food for us. Healing starts from within, right? And so in order to really connect with the source of inner knowing, because it's really rich and potent with all that you need to know, we all have this inner intelligence that guides us to make healthier choices, that guides us to find balance no matter what happens in our lives. So connecting to this inner guidance sometimes is a challenge for many of us that are so outward driven. There's just so much information and so much stimuli outside of ourselves that it's easy to lose that inner hearing to understand what our body is actually asking us for on any given day. We also often struggle with our routines. Some people are having difficulties with actually establishing some kind of regular routines, and others are so stuck in the rut, and they just keep doing the same things, the same diet, the same lifestyle. And that's what brings us into the state of sort of being stuck in our life, being stuck in the rut. So finding movement and finding flow in our life is what a health coach can help their clients with. So finding balance, finding how to navigate the rapid changes in our lives. You know, changes are not new, is not a new concept. There will always be changes, but how can we build our resilience so that we can increase our adaptability to these constant changes? And also resources. You know, often we feel that we don't have options. You know, we feel like we are stuck with our health because there's just nothing better out there than, say, taking up some prescription medication or going for something more extreme like surgery. But there are always options out there. So what health coaches help their clients with is really to resource themselves with empowering information that will allow them to take control of their health and to really become the crafter of your own destiny. So there are many benefits of being a health coach, and basically one of them is that satisfaction that you get when you help somebody to get their health into their own hands and to actually heal themselves. Yes, you can go somewhere and get fixed. You can go for, even if it's an alternative therapy, you can get acupuncture, you can get massage. But until you really understand how your body works and what works for your unique build, for your unique constitution, you will be constantly chasing something elusive, something outside of yourself, right? So when you can help somebody to connect with that inner intelligence, it can be so emotionally gratifying. What I like about coaching also is that you constantly stay in a state of learning. I love to learn. I don't know about you, but personally, I love to continuously learn. And being a coach allows me to kind of constantly keep myself on my toes when it comes to expanding my horizons and expanding my knowledge. So keep on learning because every client is really opening up an area of knowledge. It's like a universe in miniature that you are dealing with. And so it's mutually beneficial actually when you work somebody and help them with their health challenges, because inevitably you see something in your client that perhaps you are not seeing in yourself while you're helping them with their health issues. So it's a very interesting career path, especially if you are getting into coaching as a one-on-one seeing clients practice. In a way, health coaching is also keeping you in a constant state of growth. Yeah, so it's something where you want to always be a better anchor. You always want to be better at holding space for your clients. You always want to learn. You always want to explore, find new tools, and use those tools on yourself, of course, and then offer them as a suggestion to your clients. With career paths, that's also very curious how coaching opens this Pandora's box of your gifts and talents that perhaps have been latent and underutilized in your life, and allows you to really look at what is it that you are already good at. What are your unique skills that you have cultivated? And sometimes they are not even related to health and wellness, but something that you do really well. Say, if you're really into photography, or you like to do video, or you are an adventurer and you like to spend time outdoors as your hobby, or you love to dance. So all of these gifts and talents, all of these hobbies and your personal inclinations can be leveraged and combined with health coaching so that you can create a unique modality or unique product or unique services. The time right now is when we are starting to really integrate all that we have learned in our lives through our experience and also through education. And we also have access to many of the ancient traditions and ancient technologies that have been validated and found extremely effective. So now, unlike in any other time in history, we have ways when we can express ourselves and share our gifts with others and have an impact on other people's lives, but also make a living doing what we love. So this training is really for you, first of all, even if you don't think that you want to be doing coaching as a career. So it's extremely empowering, and it will help you to discover your true inclinations and true path of growth and true path to your internal intelligence, as I like to call it. But then if you want to take it a step further, we always share the tools and possibilities. And there are so many examples of how our students have taken this training and really converted into something unique and beautiful that nobody else is doing. And it's really helping to affect thousands of people. So back to you, Patricia, for now. And I know that I'm stealing a little bit of the fire from what Bianca wants to share. So we can go back and forth about that.
Yeah, thank you, Inga. I think it's a perfect transition to kind of hand it over to Bianca, but I did want to, you know, reinforce that bit that, you know, sometimes people come into our course and, like myself included, not really knowing the possibilities that are out there, just kind of, you know, just that there's a calling, there's something, there's a feeling, sort of this sort of invitation has landed in your life, and you want to honor it. And most people come with no idea of how it's going to turn out. And by the end of it, through that journey of the course, but that journey within, and that journey within and without, if you will, there's so much clarity, and it's been so beautiful to see how many different sort of new ventures, new talents, and just overall abundance comes from that knowledge. So Bianca has been an especially great example of that, because her offering just keeps on stemming from one angle to the other in such a beautiful way, and she's constantly impacting those around her. So Bianca, I would love to hear more from you. Tell us all that you do, your design, your podcast, or not podcast, your workshops, your hotline. I'll let you give us all the details.
Cool. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, fabulous. Hi, I'm Bianca, and I graduated the academy here in New York back in June. And like anybody else starting a new chapter in a new industry, I was in beauty and wellness prior to enrolling into the academy. But like we're all speaking today, I had a calling towards healing, towards nourishment, towards helping myself and helping others. And I also, during the course, let myself kind of follow my intuition, just like in the course we stress to follow our intuition when it comes to our own health journey, for our food choices, what feels good and what doesn't. So I guess I can tell you step by step my journey, and then I guess kind of some advice when it comes to graduation time and how to handle those feelings of excitement and fear. So yeah, So when I enrolled in the academy, I had no idea that I would be sitting here speaking about my journey, but that's just to say to remain incredibly open. Like Patricia was saying, we are probably enrolling, or we have enrolled, or you feel like enrolling because there's a seed inside of you that does call for this type of work, this healing work. So when I started school, I loved it. It lit me up. I was in a room with like-minded people. And if you haven't been in a room with so many passionate people, I cannot recommend it more. It's so motivating, and we're also motivating in class. So if you're hesitant, just being in that environment already sparks ideas, because everyone in class wants to help, wants to be, of help. So maybe you start something together, you have projects together, you speak outside of class. So there's that magic component. I'm on the younger side, whatever that means. We're all young and we're all beautiful and children. But I'm 24 years old, and I'm very much part of this whole Instagram generation. So prior to Academy, I was the beauty editor of a print magazine here in New York City. So I had quite a few eyes on me on Instagram. I had a community on Instagram. So when I started the Academy, I was sharing my journey, transitioning from writing for a magazine to training to become a holistic nutritionist. So many people got very excited about it, because I think right now our society is so motivated to feel better, because I think we've focused so much on the outside. Like Inga has been saying, we're reaching this point where people are like, okay, I can only put so much of my energy outside of myself, on the phone, on the computer, on this. So people are really hungry, no pun intended, to take care of themselves. So I started getting approached when I was in school, just like if you enroll in the program and you start telling your friends and your family that you're doing this, people are going to ask you, they're going to say, oh, so what do you think about a granola bar? What do you think about kale? What do you think about juicing? People are going to start asking you these questions, and it's so important to jump on them and take them as an opportunity to practice, to get comfortable with sharing your knowledge. Because at the end of the day, if you're in this course, it's something you're incredibly passionate about, and it's in your heart. And if you're speaking from the heart, there's absolutely no wrong. You know what I mean? So people were approaching me when I was in the course. And so I got so excited that I started projects, if you will, while I was in the course. So during the course, I started writing a little book, a 20-page pamphlet. I'm also a painter. This is one of my paintings. And like Patricia and Inga were saying, in this time, you can do anything with this certification. So I thought, I really love art. I really love nutrition. How can I bring the two together? I can make a book. I actually have it right here, and I can show it. But I hand illustrated it, hand wrote it, and it's truly my version of what I learned in the academy, which is going to happen if you enroll. You're going to take in all this information, and I encourage you to also then, in turn, when you turn around and have your own practice, to spread the messages that really stuck to you. Like Patricia was saying and Inga was saying, this course offers so many different things, from body work to herbs to talking about all the different food groups. So in theory, you can implement things, you can not implement certain things. Things don't have to be so black and white. So I invite you to be a little more giving with yourself and kind of make it your own. So I made this book. And as graduation was approaching, like anybody else, I was getting very nervous, because you feel so safe in this environment. And they're like, oh man, now I have to actually start doing the thing that I wanted to do. But I highly recommend to put fear aside and turn that into motivation and fearlessness, because at the end of the day, you can do no wrong. If you're following your heart and you're following your passion, you're going to land on your feet. So I let myself do what I felt in my heart. And one day when I was in class, I thought, you know what? I should open up a hotline where I can start practicing health coaching because I'm not certified yet. Graduation's coming. We have an assignment due. We need to get those hours in. I need to do it all. So that really motivated me. By no means do you have to go out and buy a new phone line like I did. But I have various other jobs aside from just being a health coach that do supplement my income, so much so that I felt that I could give back to my community by purchasing a new phone line, opening it up to anybody, for them to text me. We set up an appointment that's 15 minutes long on a donation basis. So I wanted to give my knowledge to those seeking help. I didn't want to charge them because at the time I wasn't certified. And if anything, they were doing me a favor by trusting me and coming to me and practicing with me. Long story short, it became this beautiful thing. And now that is truly my nutrition practice. I have clients that are returning that say 15 minutes on a donation basis was not enough. I want to talk to you once a month for an hour, for 2 hours. So my practice is very open, very flowing. I let a lot of my clients tell me what they want, or if a client comes to me, they say, I don't know what to do. So then I have kind of like a formula that we learn in class, in the academy to follow. We have an intake form. Don't let any of this scare you. I promise if I can do it, you can do it. I'm a very creative person, and like numbers and schedules and things are kind of wonky with me, but since it's so rooted in love and in passion, it just all works out. So I urge you to come into this course with fearlessness and make it yours, and try and incorporate all of your passions, whatever those may be, whether you start making videos because of your certification with your knowledge. If you, have a portion that's a part of your dance studio, that's a nutrition class. I also now teach classes here in New York. I just did a juicing class. I teach oat milk making classes. I give nutrition talks. So the possibilities are really infinite as long as you are an unwavering force for yourself. Yay!
I love that.
Oh, that's beautiful. And I think, fear is such a big topic in sort of this journey, I guess. We just had a newsletter go out around fear because it's associated in a way with the kidney, and sort of that's the season of the kidney that we're in winter. We're very seasonal, right? And that's an emotion that can be found. And we go into depths in many ways with that, but fear so often stop us from taking that leap. I remember when I was about to sign up to the course, I didn't even want to be a health coach. I didn't know much about health coaching. I knew I wanted to get better, but I was so scared, and I just wasn't sure if it made sense. It was time, it was money, it was all these things. And my sister, who knows me in and out, and knew that I had been yearning to dive deeper into this world for a long time, she said, you have to do it. I'm not going to let you not do it. And then since then, one thing led to the other, and then I graduated, I got my health back, it became a complete passion of mine, and all of a sudden, here I am, left my job, and I'm running the program here in London. So things flow when you let them, and when you sort of trust, and there is so much potential, as Bianca has shared, with trusting and with letting that wisdom be your force, and your guiding light. And I think we do teach at Academy how to set that practice up. That's something that actually Inga goes into depth. So Inga, it'd be great if you could just share a bit of how we guide our students. So obviously, again, caveat that not everyone immediately comes and says, I want to be a health coach, that's what I'm doing. But there is this wealth of knowledge that, and I'll sort of go through all the different versions that you can use this knowledge with, but health coaching is something that you can immediately do, especially because it's something that you get clients immediately to pay you for, and you can run programs that are 3 months. So there is that immediate revenue opportunity that basically ends up covering the cost of your learning, which is amazing. So yeah, Inga, if you could just expand at how you guide our students to sort of ground their own practice and create that that essence, because like Bianca mentioned, everyone has their essence and has their uniqueness that will come to life in the course.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love to be in academy, and this is the reason why, since I was a student myself, and for me, being a student in academy really allowed me to recognize what I have already mastered around my own health and wellness. It was sort of an acceptance of my gifts. But it also highlighted to me that there is a gift of my cultural background that perhaps with, you know, especially my move from the country where I was born, which is Russia, then to United States, it sort of kind of got lost in translation a little bit. And Academy really allowed me to recognize that what I had in my childhood during my upbringing was really a precious gift that a lot of people just didn't have as an opportunity. And what I'm talking about here is this connection to nature, which is based on seasonality, which is based on the cycles of nature that are constantly changing. And, you know, being kind of raised in the early 80s, my grandmother had a garden, and we were basically, you know, growing our own food and making pickles and preserves for the winter. So everything was really built on what's happening in nature. And when I moved to US, I saw that a lot of people were so disconnected from this rhythmic flow. And that's what was creating a lot of issues, as I later learned to recognize for many people. So now being on the other side as a faculty at Academy, I can also see when people come to this training, and I see how they are, that there's something special in them, that a spark that is just waiting to be activated, waiting to be discovered. And I see a little bit of confusion, and that is very natural. Like, that is very common nowadays, this sort of sense of anxiety. What am I supposed to do with my life? And there are so many options, or maybe I don't see actually what I need to be doing. There's a lot of kind of cultural programming that we all, I guess, absorb as we grow up. You know, the school is telling us we need to be doing this and in a particular way. You know, our parents, our friends. So we have all these influences that tell us what we are supposed to do and how we are supposed to lead our lives. And that is often in total counterbalance to what our true nature is, and how it flows for us naturally. So being on that other side at the Academy as a faculty, I also mentor students. So we have a mentoring program. So every student gets personal attention during the course, specifically in regards to discovering those unique and special gifts that we all have. Our healing journey, you know, we all have health issues. That's just the way things are. You know, it's not to say that if you're not healthy, something is wrong with you. We all inherit or acquire the health issues, and so that we could really learn how to constantly connect to the truth of our being. And so having gone through this personal journey myself, I know how to help others to discover that in themselves. So we offer this mentorship where we help our students to find their unique gifts and put them to good use. So first, it starts with yourself. You need to really know what makes you tick. You know, you need to know what moves you, and how do you want to channel your energy? Because our energy has a limited amount, right? Like, we are born with a specific amount of energy that we use throughout life. And so it really makes a lot of students think carefully, you know, how do you actually spend your life and where your energy goes? and what would be more productive, what would be more nurturing for your own life and for the lives of others around you, to channel this energy. And so we are starting actually from the very beginning of the training, where we invite our students to focus on an issue which often they take on from their personal experience and use it as a topic for their graduation project, for example. Right, so there are several assignments that are required for graduation and for getting the certificate from this training and continuing on as a nutrition coach. So everyone has to go through this process, through this journey. So from the very beginning, we coach the students to start keeping a diary, perhaps, and to discover what is it that their unique gifts are and what their unique health journey has brought into realization for them. And then take that on as a project that they can then mold in a shape and form that will utilize any other gifts that they have, whether it's video editing or writing articles or putting together websites or anything else in between. So the guidance starts from the very beginning, and then as the modules continue, they sort of grow on each other. So we start with introducing the foundational concepts of Chinese medicine and the 5 elements, and the main concept behind our reality, actually, in which we exist on this planet Earth, the yin and the yang, the concept of balance, the 2 opposing forces. So the students start observing their life through this lens of the Chinese medicine philosophy. And also throughout the training, students go through the seasons. Yeah, so the guidance also starts there. If you're confused, if you're not sure where to start, you can start tuning yourself into what is the energy of the current season. And I think it's a very valuable tool because it really allows us to develop compassion with ourselves, because our energy changes based on what's happening outside of us, what's happening in nature. So in the winter, as say in New York, we are going through the middle of our training, right during the winter season. And this is the time for kind of gathering your energy and concentrating it and kind of distilling it inward. It's cooking up all the knowledge that you are acquiring. So this is the time when we start with our projects. So everything is organically aligned in this training. So it's a very unique kind of educational circumstance as well, where you actually are learning something that is extremely interesting and very valuable, not just for the time being, but it's going to be lifelong learning. It's going to offer you tools that you can continuously explore for the rest of your life. And so you are actually doing something that you are passionate about, and that allows you to cultivate and allow that spark, that inner fire, that inner passion to be stronger. And to guide your life so that you don't have to do things anymore on autopilot, you know, that you don't have to put up with the work that is a soul-sucking job, you know, but to actually discover what drives you and what makes you happy and what makes you healthy, you know, and what makes you happy is what's going to make you healthy. All along, it's like your own personal hero's journey that you're going through at the Academy. And of course, all along the training course, the 10 modules, the 9 months of training, it's also interesting that it's a 9-month training. So it's like an incubation time. You're regrowing yourself. You have an opportunity to rebirth yourself in this new capacity as a way shower, as a hero of your own health journey, and as this pillar of light that can guide others to find the light that they may have lost in their own health journey. And so all along the course, we provide the tools and guide students in whatever direction they need to explore their potential. And towards the end of the training, we focus a bit more on this business component and helping you to recognize if you have any specific fears of being seen or being actually offering this advice that is driven by your personal experience, or showing yourself to on social media and marketing yourself. So we all have all these, you know, things that that we don't feel completely confident about. But what's important is to recognize what you already know and what you already have gone through in your life, in your personal experience, and that it has tremendous gifts to those that are maybe just starting on their health journey. So the guidance starts from the very beginning, and we are kind of holding your hands and helping you to become stronger in your own truth and discover what is it that you would like to do with your life that will be so rewarding, not only financially, but also really spiritually and emotionally.
Yes, thank you, Inga. And I think for us, it's really important to help students find their dharma, right? That life purpose, because what's health for if not for that, right? The idea is that I'm going to be the best version, the healthiest version of myself, so that I can come and deliver my gift to the world, and we all come with that gift. So like Inga mentioned, there's that guidance from the private mentoring sessions that are with Inga. Actually, I am attending the courses. I'm very easily reachable, and I'm there to support our students as well. And our community alumni are always willing to help each other out. The students are always supporting each other. Yeah, absolutely. So I am going to just take you through a few more examples of you know, what you can do with this health coach certificate. But in the meantime, I encourage you guys to send any questions that you may have for Inga, for Bianca, for myself, or just general questions, so that we can cover them right after. So we look at this course is for you, right? So basically the intention here is that we're looking at restoring health, right? It is so important to be in alignment with ourselves, and not only to recover, but also prevent, because prevention is so often overlooked, like Inga mentioned at the beginning, not until it's too late, right? And then sometimes we are often relying on a healthcare system that is, you know, that is not giving us the answers, right? Like we mentioned, obviously we have respect for doctors, and we're not doctors in any capacity, or, you know, saying, you know, do this and take this medication or stop taking it. That's absolutely not our role. But we see that in the medical community, there is this often approach to treat the symptom rather than get to the root cause of the condition, and sort of mask the symptom with typically medication that can be quite harmful for us. So, you know, in my experience, that was the case. I was taking loads and loads of prescription medication for my migraine. I never got to the point of why. Not until I came with Academy and I realized, actually, you know, my gut health is really triggering this, and how I can, through getting to the root cause, come to a more holistic approach, right? So that's sort of what draws students to our course, this possibility and this holistic route. And what you're able to do, so we talked about coaching clients. Obviously, we've discussed what a health coach is. It's that person that has a client one-on-one, that is giving them advice. But then you can also do cooking demonstrations. So because you are learning how to cook in class, you know, even if you're doing the program online, you're watching sort of the cooking. And if you're with us here in London or New York, then you're actually trying the foods and getting hands-on. So you can go out and like actually be practical in that sense. We also have workshops that students go on to do. We look at people doing blogs or books. Like Bianca will ask you to share your design later on screen as well. Going to health food shops and giving people guidance. I know each time I go to my local health food shop, so many people are, you know, a bit lost, and there's such a potential to guide them and be like, okay, you know, this is, you know, the kefir brand, and here is the ingredients, and, you know, this is what we're looking after. So kind of take that opportunity to be practical and hands-on with them in that sense. But then we also have people speaking at corporates. You know, there is such an awareness now of the importance of wellness and how much it matters in terms of delivering the best output at work, that corporates are definitely engaged, and almost, you know, so many companies now are looking to hire people to come in and give talks to their staff and support them on that journey. But also, you know, many of you who I've spoken to before, you know, have a current path perhaps that they want to, you know, complement. So they are a nutritionist. So you could be a nutritional therapist, have a diploma. We give a certificate, which is different, but you can have a diploma. And we've had nutritional therapists, and I'll share that an example in a bit. Come and join us, because it's a completely different approach to food, looking at the Eastern approach, looking at the practical approach, looking at the holistic approach, the full body approach. You can be a psychotherapist. We've had people be yoga or Pilates instructors, and kind of blend that all into one offering. But then also there's the business side of wellness. You know, we have students that are then launching a marketing career that supports wellness businesses, or copywriting for wellness businesses, or, you know, a new restaurant is opening up and they want recommendations on their menu. So that's another opportunity. So just to give that more context, and obviously we have tons of students who launch businesses like we mentioned. So we'll run through a few examples. So Nikki, for example, in New York, she opened her own wellness center, which is called Now Nutrition. So not only does she have and practice as a health coach, but she has a full center where she has an infrared sauna and classes and workshops. So it's all in this beautiful healing space. And Fleur, so she's graduated in London, and she was already a nutritional therapist, you know, already seeing clients. She's an author. But if you sort of read through her comments, it was the first time in all her years of being a nutritional therapist that she had been able to experience the practical side of what she does. And she really thought this is a must for any practitioner out there. So she was able to add that element into her current practice. We have Susie Woords, who launched Hara Healing. So she went on to she discovered sort of that her calling was also in transformation. So she did a transformational training, which she's just graduated from. And now she is going to be launching a short cooking course. So helping her clients not only one-on-one, but also in this practical cooking course that's about 6 weeks. So she's going to be combining the elements of her transformational work and her work with us. And, you know, she always says it changed her life in so many ways. And I keep in touch, quite close touch with Susie. So it's been great to see her transformation. Kelsey Maid, so she is a life coach and a mindfulness coach. So she was able to add this element again into her offering. So speaking of expanding your potential. Katie, so she launched a new business, this business called Smoops, which is soup delivery services, which basically looks at really healing soups that are seasonal, that have herbs, you know, a whole host of yummy things. And, you know, for her, Academy was that really practical approach, and she loved how engaging our instructors are. So it was really, really nice to see that come out of her student project, actually. Because like Inga mentioned, there's you're tasked with a student project for graduation where you kind of think, okay, what is my gift? What is that thing that I'm called to do? You know, what are my assets, right? What do I like to do, and how do you bring it all together and offer it? And your project is sort of that presentation. It's that recipe book, it's that ebook, whatever it may be that you're doing is what you're going to hand over in class, and you're supported, like Inga mentioned, to do that. And then we also have Eden, who is also a graduate of New York, but also works with us. So she went on to launch her own business as a marketing consultant for wellness brands. So she helps brands in terms of their strategy, their branding, and she actually is behind a lot of Academy's sort of marketing elements too. So what I loved when speaking about her is that she said, Academy answered a lot of questions about health, but then it asked her a question that she wasn't expecting, which was, how will you structure your life so it's more in tune with your truth? And I thought that was beautiful, how she transitioned into having this flexible offering where she, works from home and then cooks very nourishing foods and is helping businesses. So still leveraging her business knowledge. So yeah, I'll go now into a bit more detail of the actual course and then go back to get some answers, some Q&A. But basically, as you've seen through Inga, you have access to world-class holistic health professionals. So our teachers are absolutely amazing. Inga is one of them. Roger, who's the founder of Academy, has over 30 years of experience in the holistic healing world. We have Nam Singh, who's an ordained Taoist priest. So there is just these beautiful instructors that come over here to teach and give all their wisdom. And the training is quite extensive, right? So there's 100 hours roughly of interactive classes, and that is in London. But as I mentioned, there's also an ability to do it fully online. We've had actually some students who are, because I see a few of you are sort of based in outside of the UK. We've had students join us from outside. We had a student come in from Denmark, and he would fly in over the weekends for the class and then go back. And then we had students who were, let's say, in Spain and didn't do all the live modules, but they got the online equivalent and did a few live. So there's a lot of flexibility, but overall there is that offering of practical work, which is quite beautiful, where we are actually cooking and sampling dishes and elixirs. You're learning, because it is quite holistic, about practical body work and mindfulness, natural remedies, supplements, all those things that we mentioned. Because that's a coach is not only going to ask, okay, what's your diet? What are you eating? A coach is going to ask all the elements, what is your line of work? Are you happy? Your relationships? Are you sleeping well? What are you doing when you get ill? What type of, what is your kitchen pharmacy? How are your energy levels? So to be able to have that holistic approach to clients, then you also need to have that holistic training. And the training comes with 500 pages of a digital workbook, which is basically all sorts of information that you have to read around different modules, but then also information that is at your disposal. We always say Academy is a journey, right? It starts in London, March 21st, but it doesn't really end, right? It's something that personally I keep on learning. Our students have all this material at their disposal and are always using it and leveraging it to continue their path. So it is, but the resource is always there for you. You have those private mentoring sessions, which I mentioned with Inga, who she will help sort of guide you in the delivery of your student project, but also guide you when you see your guinea pig clients, because you have to see 2 guinea pig clients with us and kind of journal around that case study. And then we all get together and sort of discuss collectively how that experience was. And something fun that we do here in London is that we do a tour of Chinatown. So we go and, source different bespoke ingredients and herbs, and then that weekend we're cooking with them. So you get to see Soho in a very different light. And of course you get your health coach certificate. So I'll just briefly show you the schedule. So as you see, in London, we have modules 1 to 6, almost 1 weekend a month. And they are Saturday and Sunday, 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. But if you can't attend a live module, you have the online equivalent, or like I mentioned, you can do the full program online. And then everyone, whether you're in-house or not, is doing the last 4 months online. So basically from March to November, December is when you're sort of looking at that training. And you also have during that time a Facebook community where we're all supporting each other. You know, each time that we're live in class, you know, you see the energy of everyone coming together. And like Bianca mentioned, you know, people with the same passion, and that doesn't stop in the classroom. You know, we have that engaging aspect in the Facebook group. A lot of the assignments sometimes include cooking, so we have students sharing, you know, their dishes, questions, and so there is that constant support even once you're online. And remember that that's the time that you have those mentoring sessions, so you're constantly supported in that sense, and you have the online classroom throughout. So before we continue, some questions came up. So we'll have one question around Bianca showing your design, so we'll get to that. And Academy isn't in Australia, no, Michaela, but you are able to access the course fully online. And someone who is local to New York, so if you're in the New York area, the training starts in October, so you can get information shortly about that as well. And I think those are some of the main questions for now. We're going to take you through an overview of the modules, but I'm going to do this quite succinctly so that we can then regroup back with Inga and Bianca about any other thoughts. But guys, feel free to jump in if there's anything that you want to add as I'm showing this. So we'll go through sort of what are those grounding modules that give you the information that you need to practice as a health coach, or to go on and to unfold all those different paths as a career that we mentioned as a possibility. So our first module is an introduction to the Chinese medicine principles, longevity diet, which is this sort of grounding foundation that we have in the course of looking again at cultures of longevity and how to learn from all that wisdom that we've lost touch with. We look at the 5 elements theory, yin and yang, doctrine of signatures. So there's all the grounding that you need to get inspired, right? To get started and to start to see the world through this lens that, you know, Inga mentioned of yin and yang, which is our guiding force for everything. And this is taught by Roger Green, who I've introduced to you guys before as the founder of the course. And then we get cooking with Inga. And actually, Inga, are you okay to take us through what we learned with you? Because you're here, so might as well. Normally, I present this on your behalf, but as we have you here, if you want to jump in and tell us about the cooking classes with you.
Yeah, so we have 2 classes where we actually make healing dishes. And one class with me as well that is more focused on herbs, and they're not just any herbs, they're the tonic herbs or the herbs of longevity. Some of them are nowadays known as adaptogens. So we have a whole 2-day segment, a whole module on learning about adaptogens and medicinal mushrooms and superfoods and how to use them according to the principles of food energetics, how to actually recognize their energies and choose the ones that will be specifically really good for you to work with at any given time. So, but the cooking classes are the foundation for everything, you know, and the cooking classes are based on the seasons. So we walk you through what's appropriate for every season in terms of the energies of foods, and also how to prepare those foods so that you complement the energy of the season, as well as really starting to understand what kind of foods are going to help you to rebuild your internal organs and regenerate your organs and tissues. And since we are learning about the longevity diet, which is focused on your digestive system as this main area that we all need to strengthen and cultivate, because this is where we process the nutrients that then become our body, and also we process while we process our food in our stomachs, we also process information that comes into our being, into our field with our mind. So we have kind of two digestive systems. And interestingly, they are connected. So we start to draw these parallels between our internal ecosystem and organs and systems and how it's plugging into the reality and the environment outside of you, and how to really know how to choose different flavors and foods of different thermal energies and natures to nourish you and to make you feel in harmony with the current season. So it's based on seasonal aspects. We cover such topics as sourcing your food, where to get the best quality ingredients. We are learning about organic, what is true organic and what is fake organic, and how to get foods to be more digestible, and how to make friends with all food groups, actually. We don't discriminate between food groups. So longevity diet is not a diet per se. So it's not a set of strict guidelines, but it's a combination of principles that we can pick and choose with understanding and intelligence around our own body's unique biological makeup. So longevity diet gives us the tools that will help us to customize the diet on any given day throughout the seasons, through the cycles of our lives, that will help to rebuild our digestive system, make it a strong processing factory for all the nutrients and all the life's challenges that we are taking in, and how to be a better digesters, really. So we start with the first module, with the first cooking module. It's focused more on cultivating our digestive system, or the earth element, as we call it in Chinese medicine. So our earth, our middle, our center, what foods are appropriate for nourishing our middle, finding our core, our center. This module is not using any animal food, so it's a vegan, vegetarian module. I like to teach on concepts, so there will be a number of recipes that we will be tasting and making in class, and you can easily customize a recipe concept that I will be providing to adapt it to different seasons or to your specific needs. So I'm starting with what is called a concept soup. Yeah, so I'm just taking you through the building blocks of the soup and the philosophical principles that you can draw upon to make a soup that is just right for you. So we are playing with a lot of concepts that are based on food energetics and Chinese medicine, and learning how to nourish our core, how to be better digesters, and how to make the foods more absorbable by our systems, and how to love all the food groups, how to not shun certain food groups like, say, grains, because some people may have some problems properly digesting grains, especially gluten-containing grains. So my first cooking class is Earth Element, and it's based on vegetarian food groups. And the second cooking class, we go a little bit deeper into food energetics, and we touch upon the other seasonal aspects and how to choose the foods to really warm your body if you are feeling extremely cold or have cold hands and feet. How to form these foundational dishes that you can be rotating throughout the year. So just knowing a few is enough for you to start playing with and adjusting with certain spices to change their energies. So we are talking about including all of the flavors in our cooking, and also the importance of cooking at home, knowing how to make yourself nourishing foods from the best quality ingredients that you can find. So overall, it's very fun, and we both discuss some interesting philosophical topics in those classes and go into learning about the energetics of foods, or what we call the doctrine of signatures, or what it means is how certain foods look like our organs, or by association that we could recognize from their shapes or colors that what they would be good for inside of our body. So there's a lot to play with. It's a lot of fun, and we get to taste a lot of dishes, and we get concept recipes, the recipes that you will be able to adjust and customize for yourself, for your own needs.
Yeah, thank you, Inga. And there's you can see the different pictures of a few of our dishes, and you're perfect. Let's see if that worked. So I'm just trying to show the video of myself speaking, but you're fine with watching Inga anyhow until that gets sorted, and just having an idea of what we cook. And what, like Inga mentioned, we are a non-dogmatic school, so we will discuss all the food groups. Our program is suitable for any diet type. If you're vegan, we'll show you how to do it better. If you're vegetarian, we'll show you how to do it better. If you are a meat eater, we'll show you how to do it better. But there's all these elements that we discuss with open-mindedness of the good and the bad, and then sort of see how everything can be medicine, and have every student tune into their own innate constitution and what works best for them, and in that sense, looking at how they are going to make the decisions for themselves, right? So then we move on to cooking with Chinese herbs. So this is taught by Nam Singh, who I mentioned is one of our main faculty members, who is a ordained Taoist priest. So we go to Chinatown and we source all of these amazing herbs and ingredients, and we go in that weekend make foods that are going to be very nourishing, like juks and ferments and pickles. So again, that very practical experience of going from the market to class. And then we have the Barefoot Doctor Weekend, be your own doctor. So this is around really that idea of that local medicine man that would come with his little bag of vegetables and spices, and come up with these beautiful concoctions. So we teach you over 300 natural remedy recipes. We'll do something very blissful in class called the ginger compress. We will look at a bit of a shiatsu introduction, a couple of mindfulness techniques as well. So really honoring the part that our body is the vehicle which we're in this earth, right? And it's not only what we put in it, but how we work with it as well. That's really important. And those are just some examples of how we get into the ginger compress and the shiatsu massage in class. And then we go back to Inga. So Inga, if you want to take through what we do in your fun superfood elixirs class.
Sure. So this is the next level from our foundational cooking classes. So we already have Nam, who is teaching you how to incorporate certain Chinese herbs into your daily cooking, your soups and stews, and a healing dish that is called the juk. Cooking is your basic foundation, but then if you want to really upgrade your health, you need to know a little bit more about how to use tonic herbs and adaptogens and medicinal mushrooms as part of your kind of health building protocols. So many of us are not even familiar with the concept of building your health for the future. We are often sort of playing catch with our health. We are trying to patch up what is broken. We are trying to heal the symptoms. We are trying to sort of find what is the root cause of our symptoms. And in Chinese medicine, there's a beautiful tradition that started with the Taoist philosophy of health cultivation, or radiant health cultivation. So this is where we're really getting into into the aspects of building your health beyond the dangers of getting sick. We are learning how to make different beverages, so we call them elixirs. They range from teas and decoctions to traditional Chinese decoctions that are long cooked herbal preparations, as well as blended elixirs. So that's something that is more new and that was not part of the Taoist tradition thousands of years ago, but we are now learning how to incorporate tonic herbs into these comprehensive beverages that can be used in a ritualistic way as part of your kind of health routine, health building routine. And also that would incorporate nutrients in a wholesome way, so that you have your superfoods and you're getting your nutrients and minerals and vitamins, as well as these unique herbal components that are the forgotten foods, that are the foods that nourish us on more than the physical level, that really allow us to tap into the level of our consciousness and connect us to the very essence of who we are and nourish our spirit. So they're sort of advanced herbal preparations with herbs that come from different parts of the world, where they grow in extreme weather conditions, sometimes in extreme natural habitats, and they contain the properties that your simple, regular veggies and fruits sometimes simply don't contain. So it's that next level of nutrition that is going to allow you to upgrade your health and really build up your energy, so that you don't have to experience ill health in your older age. So it's all for longevity, and it's all for having a powerful life, so that you have enough energy to accomplish all of your projects and be in service to humanity.
Yes, thank you, Inga. And I think what's really fun is that we're also learning how to make, your own almond milk, oat milk, coconut milk, and using that as a base for all these elixirs. So it's really something special and really nourishing, as you can see from some of the example shots. We have like a matcha, a pearl matcha beauty elixir. We have a goji shizandra lemonade. We have a Romagna concoction, all sorts of amazing things for your replenishment that you get to try in class. And then everyone goes to sort of the online version, versus even if you're joining us in the First Element Live or online, everyone goes online at this point here in London, where you start to go through the Oriental Health Assessment. And it's this idea that, we are a whole system. In the West, we tend to have, a doctor for neurology, a doctor for gastroenterology, but actually we are a whole connected being. And in the East, that's how we are always practicing, how one thing connects to the other. So we start to look at, for example, at face diagnosis, how some symptoms in the face can be indicative of specific organs, or looking at this idea that everything needs to be healed collectively, right? Looking at things like TON diagnostics, looking at things that, there's different constitutions that you want to understand. So there's, again, especially when you're going into health coaching, if that's the line of work that you're going to be practicing in, this is a really useful module to understand how to look at disease in a different light, how to look at all these sort of, you become a bit of a detective at looking at all these different elements and seeing, okay, what is driving, what's the root cause. And then we, like I mentioned, we are very rooted in Eastern traditions. Traditional Chinese medicine is a bit of the foundation throughout, but then we also have a whole module on Ayurveda, and this is taught by Robert Sachs, who's been teaching about Ayurveda and Tibetan arts for many years. He has his own book. He's been a guest speaker at the Chopra Foundation. So he's incredibly knowledgeable. And as with everything in the course, it's going to be mind, body, spirit, right? We're not only just talking about the food and the doshas and the combinations. It's also, again, he will bring in the sort of meditation, visualization, breath, how all of these principles are going to help find that alignment. And then the second to last module is going to be around healing and healthcare, and this is taught by Bill Tara. He's been an advocate for natural healthcare for 40 years. He's really been proponing this idea of not only looking at food for what it is, but as an ecosystem, and how governments need to get involved to promote a healthier ecosystem and environment. You know, he's been involved with organic food trading for a long time. So you get that element of it, that it's not only our circle, it's a macro circle that we're also interested in. And he comes from a macrobiotic background, and he actually also runs a training himself on his philosophy. So it's really great to have his expertise into what we do. And then the last module is where you're building your own business, and we've kind of talked about this throughout the entire presentation, which is where you're being supported to go out and be that force of knowledge and of wisdom that is going to manifest in many different ways. Like we've mentioned, there's a lot of possibilities. And to graduate, you know, you get your certificate, which is an example as shown on the screen there for you. But you have to create a template, you have to coach to clients as case studies, you have to then create that independent case study as well. So that's most of the details of the course. I just wanted to bring it back to Bianca. Actually, we're gonna just go back to you, Bianca. And you know, obviously you've experienced all these modules live and interacted with all those elements. So yeah, if you could just share a bit more about how that's helped you then launch all the multiple assets of your offering, and then if you want to show the design that some people requested to see it.
Yeah, totally. Well, I think the beauty about the curriculum is that it's very much based on the body rather than on the outside, and it's very much based in following your intuition and following kind of, I like to say, the way humans were meant to eat. It's kind of a mind-blowing concept that what we're taught in academy is truly the way the body naturally functions. But yeah, it's kind of a beautiful thing to relay that information. But I mean, like Inga was saying, we never stop learning. I mean, you read supplemental material in between the live courses if you're doing it in person. In class, you're following along in the modules. Each weekend is a module. Yeah, and it's really diverse information. But I guess I will say, and I get asked a lot about the curriculum, it's truly not all just food. It is holistic. It's mind, body, spirit. It, like Patricia has been saying, we touch on herbs, we touch on cooking with the herbs. So if you're looking for a program that truly is like just food and nutrition, I invite you to open your mind and be open to all the other beautiful gems and nuggets of information this course has to offer. But again, that's not to say that you can narrow it down to your own form of to your own lens that you are then going to turn around and give to your clients or patients or in your classes. This is my little book. I illustrated all the little fruits and veggies and nuts, and I hand wrote it. It's called A Note on Wellness. It's 20 pages. I have a note on soup, a note on salad, a note on oil, a note on salt, a note on bloating, and an opening note that talks about how every single body is so different and we need to honor that. And how we shouldn't neglect any of the whole and natural food groups. I think one beautiful thing about Academy that helped me personally, and now in turn I can turn around and help my clients, is that we need and we should celebrate eating from every single food group that was given to us by the earth. So yeah, that's my little spiel on the actual curriculum. I hope that's what you were looking for, Patricia.
Yeah, no, it's always great to hear. Let me just go back to to hear everyone's take on the course. You know, I was a student myself, and it was this sort of beautiful journey, practical journey, and I learned so much along the way, and then continue to learn now after 4 years or so of having my certificate. So there is this this possibility, right, that we offer, and it's that the question is, you know, are we ready to honor that calling that we've spoken about? I think when we start the class, and everyone kind of introduces themselves, it always happens, you know, there was always that one thing, and typically I end up somehow in the story, I'm like that sighing, you know, and then Patricia called me, and then she emailed me. So I'm obviously behind our recruitment efforts here. I'm speaking to all our potential students, and typically there's something that resonates when someone you know, is willing to take that step and trust in what this curriculum can do, not only for their health, for their family, but for their lives. So the invitation is to with all this knowledge that we're providing you, to make the leap with us. And let's see if there's any. Okay, so we'll be in touch after the webinar. So basically, we're coming up to an end. We will be sending the recording. We will be sending the details of the course. Like I mentioned, it starts the 21st of March here in London. However, enrollment does close on the 16th. For those of you in New York, it's starting in October, and you'll be notified of that in due time. And we are now just going to finish off. I think one question came through around, you know, the how can you manage this with a full-time job? And that's something that's worth mentioning, because it's come up several times before. You know, this is a course that many students take with having a full-time job. You know, when I took the course, I was living in New York, working 12 hours a day. It was an insane lifestyle, but I was able to show up and make the commitment for my health and for myself with this course. So it is very much intended for that busy Western life, if you will. And it fits quite nicely into your current job or your current commitments, because it is sort of one module a month from March to December. And then the last 2 months, January and February, are meant to kind of finalize your project, and then students graduate in March. So our students here in London are graduating in a week, and then obviously, like I mentioned, we're starting on the 21st of March. And how much is the course? I'm about to get there. That's the next question. So here we go. Okay, so right now, as being part of our webinar, you get an £150 discount. This offer is valid until the 10th of March. So the way that we work at Academy, we offer interest-free monthly payment plans. So basically, your payment plan would be of £317 from March to March, so 12 installments. But you put in a £650 deposit at the beginning of your enrollment to secure your spot, and that is a deposit that goes towards the tuition. So it's not something that you get back later. Like I mentioned, an enrollment does close March 16th. However, if you want to pay in full, there's absolutely that option. You get an £100 discount if you pay in full. If you have a friend or family member you want to bring along to the journey, you know, you're able to get that additional discount as well, to sign up together. So this is an investment in yourself, and your health, but also in your life. You know, if there's one thing that you can probably hopefully take from today, is just that there is such an abundance of opportunity with this curriculum that may not be clear to you now. You may have no idea. I personally had no idea that, you know, I would be running and doing academy here in New York, sorry, in London. I was, in my mind, I was going to be a marketing executive for life. So open up that potential of what this course could do for you, even if you have no idea what that could look like now. So I'm going to just finish off and say, are you ready for a fresh start? You know, we have one of our graduates quoting that this decision of joining Academy was one of the best decisions that they've made. And I have his name there, but to be honest, I think it's a quote that I can put into like almost every single graduate, including myself. It was such an amazing experience for me, and for so many students. I see their transformation. I'm first, you know, talking to them on the phone as a prospective student, and then I hand them the certificate. So it's beautiful to see all that change, because there is this time where it's really needed. It's not sustainable for the things to go carry on in the way they are. People need support. They need to go inward. They need to reclaim their health, their energy, and that time is now. So thank you. That's a little picture of us in class. Inga and I were hosting our Elixirs weekend. So any other questions? Let's see how we're doing. I think we have. Is it a
Can you see me? I'm back, guys.
Oh, hi. So someone asked, is it a problem if you cannot attend all modules? That is not a problem at all. So because the curriculum is fully available online, what happens is that if you miss a class, you get the online equivalent. So you're completing the course and carrying on with everything in due time. But then you're welcome back the next year to complete the live course. So you get the content twice in a way. We have a very open doors policy in that sense that even if you're an fully online student, in London, we grant you the opportunity to come back to do the live version, even if it's at a later stage. So there, it could be that you missed 2 modules in 2020, and in 2021 you redo it. In 2022 you do the other one. But again, you get the online equivalent, so you're able to finish your certificate within that year. So any other questions? I think so we're looking at the calculation. Yes, so total payments of 317. Want to make sure I'm giving you the correct figure. Yes, so that is 4,454 if you're paying in installments, and if you are paying in full, that reduces it to 4,354. That could be additionally discounted 100 more if you sign up with a friend or family member. And we'll be sending you through the information around, again, the recording of this, the presentation, so you can review it, the discount, which again is until the 10th of March, with enrollment closing on the 16th. And if anyone needs to speak to me, I'm more than happy to speak one-on-one and to catch up on whatever concerns or questions you may be having. We know that it's a big commitment and decision to make, but I promise you won't regret it. So hopefully you're open to having a conversation, because sometimes we can be very in our minds and nervous, and it just speaking to someone helps, and that's what I'm here for. Any other questions? Do you have access to the online material forever? Yes, absolutely. So the online classroom, it's password protected. We probably update the password every year or so, but you get the password, and in that you have recipes that you can share with your clients. For example, you have a recommended reading list, so you can be reading for years. If it were up to us, you have so much knowledge. So yes, you absolutely have access to that sort of that material, that reading material, and it's really nice to revisit, because you keep on evolving and changing. So it may be that one year that you read something, it resonates in a different way than the second year. So it's very, very powerful to have that constant connection with the material.
I also wanted to add that part of the online classroom material are the actual projects from the students. So when we started running the training, the project was done in a more kind of traditional way. So it would be a paper that would have a structure, and you would need to put some references and go through this structure of the paper that we suggested for you. But with years, we shifted into allowing our students to use creative formats. And out of that came this whole idea of working on a project so that you could actually use it in your practice or in your life. So it has created a library of really beautiful works from our students. So you can find PowerPoint presentations there, and ebooks, and leaflets, and meal plans. So all kinds of formats that you can use as inspiration when you're looking to create your own projects. So that is also available in the online classroom for the duration of your course and beyond.
Awesome. So I think those are some of the main questions. Any other comments, Inga or Bianca, before we finish off?
No, but don't let fear stop you.
Oh, yes, I agree. Well, in that case, it is quite late over here in London, so we will go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you so much, guys, for attending. Thank you, Inga, Bianca. It's always such an honor to connect with you guys virtually, and I'm sure we're going to connect live very soon as well. It's such a community at Academy, and it's always such a blessing to come together. I absolutely love you guys, so thank you so much. And everyone who attended, you can send any questions to hello@academyhealingnutrition.uk. But again, we'll be following up with a couple bits. So I hope you reach out. I hope you take the leap and come join us. March 21st, we'll be in the classroom learning. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. And I just want to say just one final word. We are kind of in the middle of the training in New York right now. And students are starting to gear up to create their final projects. And so I was teaching my 3 classes there this fall and winter, and it's always amazing to be with this community and to see people who are really drawn to do this work, first of all, on themselves, that are getting empowered to take charge of their life and to create the best version of who they are. And I can't wait to come to London. It's now my favorite place to, now that I'm living in Iceland, actually, it's easier for me to actually access both countries, both New York school and London school. So we'll be traveling between the two. And I really can't wait to meet all the new students there and to help you, to guide you on your own journey here. So with gratitude for what's to come, and with gratitude for this community that always comes around Academy, like-minded people, people with passion, people with gifts to offer. So thank you so much for being with us today, and I will see you in class.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. So we are gonna go ahead and end this meeting. But thank you, everyone. Bye. Take care. Bye.